Deebo Samuels didn't just help us as one of the best wide receivers in the league. He obviously did so much in the running game, and that is the next option that that we really need to talk about for this offense to still be what we need them to be. And that is the running backs need to step up, right? So our running back room right now is obviously Elijah Mitchell, RB1, Trey Sermon, RB2, and then Jeff Wilson Jr., Hastings, Juszczyk, and I'm sure that they're going to be drafting one or two running backs as well. So let's talk about what I mean by this running back room needs to step up. So in 2019, the 49ers obviously went to the Super Bowl, and they weren't necessarily using Deebo as a wide back. They weren't using any of the wide receivers as a wide back. They were able to just function and have a very poignant and effective run game with just the running backs that they had in the running back room. And they had the three-headed monster with Coleman, Breida, and Mostert, right? That running back room averaged about 140 yards per game. They ended up finishing second as far as the rushing attack. But the big thing is they were averaging around 4.6 yards per carry as a running back room. This last season, the running backs were not anywhere close to that. I think they ended up finishing as a team at 4.3 yards per carry, but a lot of that was because Deebo was at 5 point plus per carry, when he was carrying the ball. As far as just the running backs in the room, I think Mitchell was somewhere between 4.2 and 4.6, I forget. And then I think Trey Sermon was around 4.1. But these running backs have to get back to averaging 4.5 plus yards per carry as a running back room. And if they do that, then we don't have to worry about, a wide back that we're losing in Deebo Samuels. Our rushing attack should just be the rushing attack, regardless of, if we have wide receivers that could play that. And how we have to go back to doing that is we have to go back to that three-headed monster. And unfortunately, right now, we don't have necessarily the burner like Mostert or like Breida. However, we still have guys that I think could be extremely effective, not only as in the rushing attack, but just weapons out of the backfield. And I think that Trey Sermon is somebody that we need to see a big year out of. He obviously didn't get a lot of play due to, obviously being in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse or whatever. But he was a third-round draft pick. He was somebody who we saw at Ohio State was able to carry that offense at times. And I just don't think that we can sustain Elijah Mitchell carrying the ball 20-plus times week after week after week. He obviously missed 6 games last season due to injuries. And later on in the season, you saw that, he kind of dwindled down a little bit when Deebo had to take over. So I think that Mitchell, Sermon have to get back to carry this rush offense. They have to be averaging 4.5 plus yards. I believe this rushing attack should be top 3 with the running backs as well as the scrambling ability of Trey Lance. And when you put all of that together, I think that this 49er offense can still be dynamic, can actually get younger and healthier and better, and maybe even more electric, even with the loss of Deebo. So that's kind of what I think is happening. I don't know what you guys think about in the comment section. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Bomber T, thank you for joining in. It's a shame Deebo went down the road he did. If he was patient and went with how the 49ers run things, he would have got his money. Yeah, I mean, look, obviously Deebo is – I think there's a lot of question marks. I mean, hopefully he'll do an interview and kind of explain to us as 49er fans what changed. I mean, was it money or was it just, he initially didn't get the offer he thought he was going to get, and then he looked at greener pastures because he might not have been super set on, living out here in California. Maybe he wants to be on an East Coast state or whatever. I don't know. We're all speculating, but I knew right from the jump when he scrubbed his Instagram the way that he did, he wasn't coming back. I was, one of the guys that said he's for sure gone. And unfortunately, it looks like I might be right, but life moves on. We can't just, pout forever. It's going to be a tough loss, but the team still is a team, and the team still wants to compete. So these are the moves that we're talking about. DC, take a flyer on Saquon and draft one. I mean, Saquon is out there. That's kind of interesting. I think that the 49ers are just not going to put too many assets into a running back. Unless they could get Saquon for a third or lower, I just don't see them making that move, just because they've had such success with undrafted free agents and 6th-round picks and whatever the case may be. So I just don't see that as realistic unless the Giants are willing to par with him for something very, very low. Let us see. My guy Jesse. Hey, go Last Second Sports. Dude's over 5K, so he doesn't need me plugging his channel. But I do want you to go and watch some of the videos he just put out in these last few days. Very, very good work, Jesse. In my eyes, one of the best 49ers commentators, YouTubers. And he loves the smoke, man. So if you don't like him, send him some DMs. He'll help make you famous. Let's see. Swan Song. Tony isn't usually the players the 49ers go after anymore. You're right. I mean, character could be an issue, but I also, Swan, wanna give him the benefit of the doubt. He's also coming from the Giants, and we know that the Giants organization isn't necessarily the highest character either, obviously. So I just think that we would, we should give him a chance. And I think that a scenery change and, being able to be utilized the way that Kyle Shanahan would utilize him might bring something in, but that's just what I think. That's just an idea that I have. Shanahan was into Tony, but they got to figure out the character issues before making a move. Yeah, and I mean, look, if Tony was our wide receiver one, or that was the only talent that we had on the team, I could see that. But look, the 49ers culture is very strong right now. There's a lot of leaders on that team. I think you could bring in somebody that you can take a risk on. And, I don't think Tony is necessarily so terrible, right? It's not like he has off the field issues or anything like that. If it's just more in the locker room, I think that the Giants locker room culture and the 49ers locker room culture are extremely different. So I think that should play a role as well.